Hello, everyone. It's Melissa the Dreadful Mystic, and this is Starting Out Solitary. I have a wonderful co-host tonight, the Deviant Witch.
Own all peoples.
And we are going to talk about crystals, specifically our favorite crystals for beginners. So, Mr. Blackthorn, would you like to start out? What's one of your favorite crystals?
Really? Okay, I think I will. Actually, unfortunately, the first crystal that I'm going to talk about, I'm looking around over here because I have a lot of shit. Is this it? Let's see. Oh. It's dusty. Nope, that's not it. Okay, sorry, y'all. Is hematite. Hematite, I actually really love hematite in raw form. This might be. No, I don't think so. But it kind of, in raw form, it can look like this a lot. Sometimes it has, like, red. This might be it, y'all. I don't know. I have too much shit. But it does look a lot like that. In raw form, it has like some orangey, like rusty colors in it at times. But I love hematite, especially as a new witch when you're starting out, because that's one of the things that you can really get anywhere, and we have it, and it's great to boost your energy. It's great to take like spiritual energy. And as we know, when we're starting out practicing witchcraft or meditating, we have a lot of thoughts that kind of go everywhere. So we're manifesting, we're creating different thought patterns and just different energies. Things can get chaotic, and so hematite actually helps to really balance that out. But it also helps you when you're meditating or when you need to focus on something. Hematite will take the spiritual essence and help you manifest it physically. So you can utilize hematite when you're casting spells or when you're doing something that requires your manifestation, or you're projecting something and you need that boost of energy to take that spirit essence and make it more present.
Yes, I like that. And, I mean, obviously all crystals can, connect you to earth energy and the earth element. But to me, hematite has a very earthy feel.
It's very grounding. Yeah, it's absolutely grounding. That's another reason like we work with hematite, is because especially, y'all, I keep saying especially. I'm tired, so I apologize. But when you're doing something new, when you're doing a new project, you're learning tarot, you're learning to channel, you're learning to take one aspect of your practice and advance it. Whenever you're doing something new, you're very passionate about it, and you kind of get a little erratic, you get a little crazy, you're like all over the place. And so the hematite helps to bring it back down to earth, bring it back here, helps to ground you out, helps to really put yourself in your body. It also helps you to communicate with ancestral energies because it's connected to your blood. Hematite is connected to the blood, so it helps you tap into the blood force, life force, and ancestral witches, and even your own ancestry. So it helps you to remember who you are. It helps you to really ground. It helps you to take something that is maybe in the astral, in the spiritual, and make it manifest in the physical plane. It's great for when you're channeling. Not a lot of hematite, because you don't want to like really ground yourself. You want just a little bit of hematite around when you're channeling or doing dream work, because you want to be able to fly. You want to be able to go and leave, but you also want to be able to return and bring that information back. So hematite's wonderful, y'all.
It is so nice. I wanted to talk about clear quartz. To me, clear quartz, I mean, is so easy to get your hands on clear quartz, various sizes. Even the bigger pieces aren't just going to break the bank. So when you're a beginner, and especially if you haven't really figured out how to how much money you want to spend on certain things, clear quartz is very affordable, and it is, to me, one of the strongest yet simplest energies of a crystal. It is easily manipulated, as far as you can store certain energies into clear quartz fairly well. It is very good for clearing your energy. It is very good for boosting any energy that you have around. So you can use this and combine it with other crystals once you get comfortable with working with various different crystals, because it's going to boost whatever you do. It's called the witch's mirror for a reason. You know, it reflects and really puts out whatever you're using it for. So when you're meditating, especially if you have issues with keeping your mind clear, to me, clear quartz is just amazing. You can hold on to that, and it really helps you to clear out the cobwebs and kind of, again, adds that boost you may need to really get into a meditative state. So yeah, I just love clear quartz, and it's amazing. It feels so good. Like,
it really does.
Oh, so cool. And it's great for your, your own aura. If you want to clear out, your own aura and your own field, it is wonderful to just kind of, comb through, and it kind of just pulls out all the gunk, and really kind of clears things up. It can make you a little hyperactive, or at least that's what it does for me. So, because it boosts things, and so if you're kind of, you need some energy and you come through your aura with a clear quartz, you'll get a nice little boost of energy. If you're about to go to bed, you might not like that.
Right.
But yeah, I love it. It's a really good crystal.
Yeah, I like it too, and it's just so beautiful, and you're right, it's an amplifier. Clear quartz is a very intense and powerful amplifier. So if you notice yourself like you're going through some sort of mood or some sort of emotion, and you realize, like, you catch yourself like, that's a little more, I'm kind of acting a little crazy right now, like it's more intense than it really should be, check your surroundings, because if you have a lot of clear quartz around you, chances are that's kind of where it's coming from, because clear quartz, especially with us, witches and people who practice, metaphysical and magical practices, it will take our energy and it will amplify whatever we're doing. It aligns with us, and it fine-tunes to our energetic levels and expressions. So if you are going through something emotional, you might want to get rid of the clear quartz on some level, or program it a different way, but make sure to keep some on you, but just not a lot, because it definitely has potential to amp up your energy and really intensify what you're feeling. A lot like, how they express vampires. When you first turn, your senses are so heightened, and you need to learn to, work with that. That's kind of like what clear quartz does for us when we're aware of the energies. I love clear quartz, so it's just so beautiful. It's just so wonderful. It's almost like a witch is a necessity, like our brooms, or, what people associate with witches, like what we really have to have. But clear quartz is definitely something that we should always have at our disposal, because you can do so much. Like you said, it's easy to program. I love it. It's wonderful. It's delicious.
Yes.
Selenite. This is a selenite sticky thingy. I have a selenite heart somewhere, y'all, and I don't know where it is. I'd love to share that with you. I love selenite, though. Selenite, I wanted to share selenite because it kind of takes what hematite does, and it kind of reverses it, because hematite is very grounding. It's very physical. It's on this earth. It's very present in the moment. Selenite is very cosmic. It's associated with the crown chakras and the higher chakras, and it's associated with, divinity, spirituality, and channeling. So selenite, it helps you to take a spiritual perception, a spiritual filter, and a very cosmic and divine understanding of whatever it is that you're going through. So when you're going through, if you're going through a hard time, and you just don't want to deal with shit, but you know that you're gonna have to, selenite is perfect to work with, because it's not going to be a bitch to you. Selenite will actually come in and give you a very detached but cosmic or divine perception of what you're going through, so you won't feel like you're being judged. And that's what I find with selenite, for me at least. It doesn't judge. It's there, it's present, and it gives you information from a cosmic place. And it helps you to raise your vibration. It helps you to raise your energy, and it's perfect for channeling, especially when you're trying to step into a higher realm, when you're trying to communicate with spirit guides and entities and energies that are higher than that. It definitely takes the physical and, reverts back to the spiritual. So it takes like the physical manifestation, and then you can travel it back up to the cosmic expression and see where it originated, because everything originates from like thought, from our perception, from, astral realm, or, a spiritual plane. And so it will take you all the way up or wherever, and you'll see how things can be manifested. So you can reverse engineer with selenite.
Yes.
Really cool.
Yes, I love selenite. It's another one of those, to me, that it's great for beginners because it's so simple. It doesn't have a lot of complex uses,
Right.
which other crystals can. You have some crystals that are very, complex to me. And selenite is just very straightforward, and it feels amazing. You cannot feel horrible with selenite in your hand. I mean, you might not feel great, but you can't just, you don't feel just horrible with it in your hand. It just lifts you up. It's almost like, in some ways, it's kind of like the sage of crystals.
Yeah, honestly, but so much better.
Yeah, so much better. Right. And so, to me, it's like the sage of crystals, and it just, you feel better even if you're like just physically sick. To me, selenite is very good to have near you because it will bring in those higher vibrations to help you get over it in a much, maybe not more quickly, but a much more positive way.
Right.
Than just sitting there and just feeling nasty continuously. You'll feel better about things and look forward to getting better instead of dwelling on the actual healing process, I guess.
Right.
So, yeah, I love that. So, I have Tiger's Eye. And to me, this is another one. I know a lot of witches actually go out, really look for Tiger's Eye. I really blame practical magic for that, but it's not a bad crystal for a beginner. So that, in a way, is a good thing. I'm kind of glad they mentioned that, not something more complicated, And it is good for protection. To me, Tiger's Eye is a little bit more complex than some of the others we've talked about because it has more than one purpose. Not only is it good for protection, but it's also good for connecting to a higher vibration while remaining grounded. It has a very strong connection with, like, to me, with your crown, but also is very strong connection with like your solar plexus as well. So you have that tether. To me, this is something that's really good for people who are nervous about astral travel or flying. You can use this to make you feel more comfortable, to know you're still attached. Granted, it might eventually cause issues because the grounding force can sometimes outweigh the higher vibrations, depending. It really depends on the crystal for me, but it also can just depend on the person. But to me, this one, because it has so much more gold than the earthier tones,
right,
it's really good for connecting with higher energy. But some of the ones that are more earthy can connect more with grounding. So, but like I said, it's great. It is good for protection. It is really good to help make you comfortable. It can be very good to, if you have a lot of arguments going on in your home, if you bring in Tiger's Eye. Tiger's Eye is kind of like the peacekeeper, even though you can use it for the exact opposite, you know, but it is kind of also the peacekeeper. You can, you know, it helps blend energies really well. It kind of mediates and keeps a good balance. So whenever you're having a lot of issues, especially if you're having issues, if witchcraft is new for you, and let's say you come from another religion like Christianity, and you're having a really hard time balancing out your feelings towards witchcraft, or you're having some conflict, you know, conflicting feelings, Tiger's Eye is excellent to meditate with, put it under your pillow. It really helps you process and come to terms with things. So I really enjoy it. And like I said, as much as it's slightly more complex, to me, it's really great for beginners because you get a really good understanding of balance and balancing out your practice, balancing out yourself. A lot of times, you know, beginners like Michael stated before, you get kind of excited and over ecstatic about something that's new. So especially when it comes to spirituality. So Tiger's Eye is really good to help keep you centered and balanced and not overdo it or over push yourself or extend yourself too far.
I like that. Yeah, and you know, and balance is actually the key word here, especially with Tiger's Eye, and it's necessary for, you know, new practitioners as well as us old biddies to understand balance. And another thing that Tiger's Eye is really good for is discernment, and we need discernment constantly in our craft, especially in witchcraft, because, you know, the energies that we work with and the connections we make and the spiritual beings that we communicate with, we need discernment because we need to make sure we are actually having a direct experience, a legit experience, or if we're just kind of making it up in our head. You know, there's so many different things that you have to discern. So Tiger's Eye is definitely powerful for that, and it's necessary for all of us to hold on to that, to realize that we need to have discernment. We need to balance our shit, and we need to make sure we have it together. Tiger's Eye is also associated with the first three chakras. You know, it's your root chakra, the sexual chakra, the sacral, and your solar plexus. And the solar plexus is say that your solar plexus is the root of your power. And so, as witches, when you're coming into your power, when you're practicing, Tiger's Eye helps you to balance like the chaotic energy, the intensity, and then like that drive, because you at first can have some very potent experiences, and then you start to mellow out, and you start to realize like it's more work than what you initially thought. So Tiger's Eye helps to bridge the gap. It helps to balance you out and helps you to realize that, okay, this is where I can be. These great experiences, these intense experiences are where I can be, and I won't have them all the time. This will help me to realize it's just part of the process. Tiger's Eye also helps to balance extremes. So just like what I expressed, it's a great balancer, and it will help balance, you know, the extreme here to extreme down here. You know, it helps to bring focus, especially when you channel it and you find that seat of power, and you're ready to express your confidence, your courage, yourself as you are. Tiger's Eye helps with that. Tiger's Eye is also associated with your blood. It's associated with strength. It's associated with vitality. And so it helps to bring vitality to your life. It helps to bring, you know, like hematite, it helps to boost your communication with your blood, with things of that nature. So Tiger's Eye is actually really good in blood magic. Working with Tiger's Eye to... I'm saying Tiger's Eye like every other sentence, y'all. I'm so sorry. Shit. But, you know, working with this crystal and your blood, you can create some very potent things. Even if you use a sigil with your blood and you use this crystal, to grid. But yeah, it can be. It's necessary and it's perfect for new and not so new witch, because it helps us to realize that we are strong, we are potent, we are powerful, and this is our life, this is who we are, and it allows us to express that correctly.
Yes. Yes. So Tiger's Eye is just awesome. It's an awesome all around crystal that, again, another one of those I really feel like should be in, every witch should have. It really helps. No matter how, long you've been on this path or how new you are, it really helps you to keep a good balance and not burn yourself out.
Yes, absolutely. I think I have one more I can share. I was like, I don't have anything else, but I do. I just saw this. Cherry quartz.
Yes.
Yum, delish. This is man-made. I used to be very snobby concerning tumbled and man-made stones, but I got over it because it's cute. But cherry quartz is sacred to Aphrodite. Cherry quartz, you take basically your perception and the understanding of quartz energy, its amplification, its amping energies and qualities, and then you take obviously your understanding of cherry, your understanding of the color of red and its essence with Aphrodite. So you realize cherry quartz, what I use it for a lot is honoring Aphrodite, glamour spells, beauty, love, lust, and kind of friction, a little bit of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
All's well, love more, right? That kind of energy. So cherry quartz is best to be utilized when you are. It's great for love altars. And I think that it's perfect for new witches because it is pretty, but it also helps us to connect with the love essence that we have, because witches are very sensual, very sexual, very beautiful. We have that glamour, and we have that. There's a word that's not coming to me on, but whatever. We are full of love. We really are, and so. That's an aspect to our craft that people witness and people see, people know us for. And so it's great to have cherry quartz with you or on you or around you to help you channel that energy, to help you become more confident and comfortable in the love witch.
Yes, I love that. And I really enjoy cherry quartz. To me, it just has a very it's not as overpowering as rose quartz can be.
Right.
Rose quartz to me is not the best beginner crystal, because people get, kind of lulled in by what they feel like is a very soft, soothing feeling. But what they don't know is eventually rose quartz can become pretty oppressive and really kind of make you depressed, because it's just this constant barrage of not necessarily love vibe, but a specific vibe that it's kind of like eating too much chocolate. You know how chocolate can give you that fake feeling of being in love, but if you overindulge, you start to feel kind of shitty, not just because you've eaten a lot of chocolate and your stomach's kind of but you just overall start feeling kind of depressed. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's like too much of a good thing is still a bad thing. So, and cherry quartz to me doesn't have that. It's very light. It's not overbearing. It's very almost flirty in a way.
Oh, it's very flirty.
And it just has a really fun energy that isn't as serious, I guess, as rose quartz. So, yeah, I really enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun to work with. And I want to do just one more because I feel like we've gone on forever and ever. And this is a cute little amethyst point that I just love. I have several. Amethyst is probably my favorite crystal of all time. I use a lot of it all the time. To me, amethyst has so many great attributes, and a lot of people just associate it with like psychic boost or working with, you know, your third eye chakra and things like that. And to me, there's actually so much more to amethyst than that, because it's very good for creativity and connecting with your muse, connecting with very spiritual, creative energy. So, and again, it's, to me, it's not too overbearing. Um, it's fairly an easy crystal to get along with for me, but it does tend to make, or at least for me, it does tend to really boost me up, and I get like bouncy off the walls and almost anxious, but in a good way. Is the best way I can describe it. So when you're around it a lot, you tend to just kind of get really, you're really motivated. Like if you want energy, it's better than coffee, you know? So yeah, I really enjoy it. I enjoy it. I use it whenever, especially whenever I'm working on spells. To me, that's one of the best crystals to have around whenever you're trying to create new spells, when you're working on any kind of project that has to do with like creating oils or herbal blends, or, you know, writing a new spell, writing a ritual, creating a tarot spread. Those are great crystals to have around. And also just in regular divination, especially if, like, if I'm doing a lot of tarot readings and I'm feeling kind of burnt out for that day and not really feeling the flow anymore, I can grab an amethyst, and it really helps me to reconnect in a completely different way, instead of continuing in that same vein and kind of getting really burnt out and almost wearing that path out. You know, it kind of redirects your brain in to a new way of thinking, and so you feel a lot more energized and refreshed, and you can continue doing more tarot readings or whatever you're doing that happens to require a lot of work or it's repetitious. So yeah, I really enjoy them.
Aw, I like amethyst too. Amethyst is wonderful. You know, and amethyst is associated with our third eye and our crown chakras, and so that helps you to understand a little bit of what you can work with it for. It's also known to release addictions. So it's associated with, you know, you can utilize it to cause addiction or to play with that energy, or most, you know, you can use it to heal or work through a process addiction. Or even if you know someone who's addicted and you've been affected by it, or, you know someone who has, amethyst has that energy to help, you know, process that and help to, you know, alleviate that. So anything like that, it's great to utilize when you have, let's say you have an eating disorder, or you just like constantly eat, like, you know, you just love food, like I do. You can work with amethyst to help you process those patterns, those belief patterns, and to, you know, not consume so much. It's great for that. It's great to understand yourself when you're obsessed with something, or when you're just like, you're really focused on something. Amethyst will help disperse addictive energy. So if you are working to, you know, you're processing through the proper channels on a mundane level, but if you're working to rid someone of their stalker, you can actually utilize amethyst in that, because of, you know, a lot of stalker tendencies focus on obsession and a sort of addiction, and so you can work with amethyst to kind of help break that apart. So yeah, I actually really like amethyst, and it's wonderful, and you should have it, and you should like it too.
Yes, and the great thing about all these crystals is none of them are very expensive, even in larger forms. So they won't like break you if you decide to go out and buy, you know, a few handfuls of crystals. So, and it really doesn't matter as far as size goes. I mean, I have much bigger amethyst than this, but size doesn't necessarily matter, and smaller ones are great for crystal gridding and things like that. So what I wanted to end this with a few resource books so you can investigate and kind of learn a little bit more about crystals and maybe make some more fairly informed choices if you don't have any yet, but you want to start working with crystals. So, Michael.
Oh, well, let me see. Actually, my first book that I'm going to recommend is not even a crystal book. It's actually called Opening to Channel.
Ooh.
Obviously, it helps you learn, to channel, to connect with a higher realm guide and blah, blah, blah. But I recommend this book because there is an exercise in this book that helps you connect with crystals. I believe there is. I'm pretty sure there is.
Yes.
But I like this book as a primer before you enter, crystals, because it helps you pay attention to your body. It helps you pay attention to the subtle energies. It helps you connect. And so once you start working with crystals on a very personal level, you'll be able to channel their essence. You'll be able to really have a communication. Fuck y'all. Shit. Damn. You'll be able to communicate with them better. You'll have that relationship where you can channel their energy, receive their advice, their guidance, and it'll just strengthen that bond that you will have, versus just not knowing how to do this, not knowing how to communicate, and just picking up a crystal and like, oh yeah, it's cute, I know what it's for. It will help deepen the bond between witch and crystal.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
Thank you. Say calling glow. Do you want me to? Do you want to share one, or do you want me to like?
Oh yeah, I can. It's fine. I'm only going to share the one because you were going to share the other one that I have used. But I love that you shared that book because honestly, to me, the best resource you could possibly have is your own experience with crystals. And in order to have experiences with crystals, you need to be able to understand how to communicate and open yourself up to them. Right. So really, that's ultimately the best resource. But it doesn't hurt to have other people's perspective. Not only does that help sort of confirm what you may be feeling from a crystal, but it can open your mind to other ways crystals can be used that you may not pick up on right away. And sometimes you won't agree with them and sometimes you will. But, like I said, it's really good for opening your mind to different ways to utilize crystals. Not to mention that a lot of them have a lot of really great information. So the Encyclopedia of Crystals by Judy Hall. Now she has several different encyclopedias. I almost hit myself with it. Did you see that? It was like, bam, right in the head. But anyway, she has several. I really like this one mainly because she gives like pictures, very large, detailed pictures, and whenever a crystal, like, there it is. When a crystal is pretty commonly used in both tumbled and raw form, some crystals you'll only find in raw. Some crystals you pretty much only find tumbled, but if they come in both, and are pretty popularly used. I'm catching your miscommunication. In both, then she'll have both. She'll have both, like the raw and the tumbled.
I like that.
Yes, so it is very good for identification because occasionally you'll have somebody that sends you, oh, you like crystals. Here, I could get you some. Or I'm going to send you some, and they'll send you like a handful of crystals, and none of them will be labeled. And you're like, well, shit. So it's a great book for identification. She has all, like the science. Let's see. She has the crystal system, the chemistry, the hardness, the source, the chakra, the number, and that's like the hard, like how hard they are.
Oh, the most hardness, yeah.
Yeah, and the zodiac sign it's associated with, the planet, and then what it's beneficial for. So it is full of information. And like I said, some of the things I don't necessarily agree with, as she says, but some of them I do, most of them I do, and it's just a ton of really good information.
Right. I want that now, y'all. I want it. I need to have it, which means I'm gonna buy it. So I guess this book is by Scott Cunningham. Crystal Gem and Metal Magic. This is the old fucking cover, y'all. Shit. But
it's old. It's good. It's a great book.
It really is.
Really?
It's a very good book. Oh, this one has pictures. Wow. Yeah. Okay. But yeah. But yeah, I like this book. It has like the magical uses. It has like, you know, the energy, if it's receptive or whatever, planet, element, powers. Then it has the magical uses. So it's really good, and it's really good for witches because it's catered to us. So that's a really cool resource to have on hand. I
like the fact that he adds metals in there because so many people overlook that. And minerals too, really.
They really do. I like it. I do. It's wonderful. Let's see. Is by Judy Hall as well. It's called Love Crystals.
Ooh.
And actually, I love it too. And this was gifted to me by Nadia Romanov of Lady Jane's Bewitchery. But yes, this is like to attract your dream lover, make yourself irresistible, or mend a broken heart with the power of crystals. Learn to harness the energy of over 100 crystals to enhance every aspect of your love life. No, but I like it because, you know, it's good to have very specific resources. So if I know I'm looking for love, or I'm looking to enhance love, or to boost love in a room, you know, friendship, whatever, but it has to do with love, I have a resource for that. I can go directly to that. I know it's going to be here. I know I'm going to find something here that will inspire me.
Right.
So, exactly. I really like this. I have one more.
Okay, yes. Go for it.
This big ass book.
Oh yeah, you know, that's on my wish list. I really want to get that as well.
Heavy, y'all. It's heavy. It's the Book of Stones. It's wonderful. It has a shit ton of information, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go into like keywords, and then they go into the element that the crystal is associated with. They go into the chakras that they're associated with, and then Robert Simmons, which he goes into his explanation, and his explanation reads to me like the Clear Eyes do, like very monotone and very dull and very boring. Very beneficial, but that's how I read it. Like every time I read his shit, like I'm like, but Naisha, the way she explains it is more my level. It's like, oh, I have a, you know, we can communicate. She is more down to earth and more metaphysical oriented. And so she expresses about the crystal. Then she'll go into like the spiritual aspect. She'll go into the emotional aspect. She'll also go into like the physical aspect, like what these crystals can be used for physical nature. And then she'll give you an affirmation. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, this is a really good crystal resource. I love it.
Terrific. I love that. Yeah, I've got that on my wish list. It's something I really need to pick up. I've had the Scott Cunningham book, and I gave it away, but you know, first I wrote, like, I think somewhere around here I have, like, everything. Practically copied the whole damn book by hand because I wound up finding so much useful information in that. And Judy Hall, as much as, like, of course, in this book, the book I have, you don't really get much of her writing style because she crams so many crystals in there, and it's all categorized like by color. So you don't get a really good, you know, sample of her writing style, but it is thorough. So it's just straight up information. Like the only thing you can use this for really is just a resource book. It's not going to give you in-depth detail really about the crystal, but enough to start.
Right.
Yeah. So yay! So now you have some books to check out if you haven't, you know, want to get into crystals, or if you're kind of into crystals but you hadn't really explored it and you want to explore more, or even if you've been into crystals for a while but don't have any really good resource material other than yourself. Oh, resources. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to Michael Blackthorn, the Deviant Witch.
Oh, thank you.
And I hope you'll have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.